Hello, my name is Wandie Kazeem from Wandieville Media. Today we have Ms. Lois Sankey, Head of Agrifinance Diamond Bank. Join me as I speak to Ms. Sankey today. Ms. Sankey, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So can you tell us how you got into the agri sector?
I would just say that I was dropped in the deep end because I studied agriculture in ABU Zaria. The executive director then in charge, who the board had given the assignment to set up a focused department that will look into the entry into agricultural financing. Just said, "Oh, Lois, you studied agriculture. You're in Sokoto." I was in Sokoto branch then.
With Diamond Bank?
Yes, I had left Diamond Bank briefly and come back.
Okay.
So I was branch manager in Sokoto. And he said, "Come to Lagos and help me set up this responsibility." So that's how I got into being the head of Agrifinance by coming in to set it up from scratch in 2011.
So can you tell us what area Diamond Bank is doing in the agri space?
From that time, 2011 for instance, what Diamond Bank was doing, I mean, was just business as usual as it comes. But then from that point of taking a deliberate decision to say, we've been doing this thing and losing money because we're not doing it deliberately. We're setting this special business unit, it was called, to take a measured entry, deliberate entry into lending to the agri sector because we know that it is a viable sector. We're just not doing it properly. And so from that point on, my job, my responsibility was to create the platform that would enable achievement of that deliberate, calculated entry into the sector. So what we're doing is we're lending across all sectors and subsectors and value chains, subject to the business proposition that comes across. So we really don't have like typical exclusion lists, but we have some areas where we are a bit more careful, but we're lending across from corporate to middle business and to retail. So that's what we're doing right now. And largely we have strategies for each of the three segments. But in the last 1 year, we have kind of decided to focus on the retail side because as a bank, you know, we're retail focused. Mm-hmm. So last year, as a deliberate decision again from the board, was to focus on growing the portion of our portfolio in agrifinance that is retail, to align with our retail focus in other areas. We're not saying we're not doing corporate or business banking, but we're focusing on growing the share of retail. If I look at our portfolio, for instance, from 2011 to 2016, it was always about 60% corporate, which are the good days, the MBL and all the big one guys, the Olams. Then you come to the middle, we have the cash forwards and the co, they are about 48%. And then we always had like 1% in the retail. Now remember the pyramid is like this way. The smaller holders are at the bottom, they're in larger proportion. So if you look at the distribution of our portfolio, it was 60 up, 40 something in the middle, 1 to 2 at the bottom. As of last year, we were 2% retail, total portfolio.
2017?
Yes. And so the decision was, what do? We need to again refocus on that bottom of the pyramid to grow the proportion higher. So we presented a strategy for that to say, okay, to enable us to do that. And we have a target. Year on year between 2018, 19 and 2020, we want to be, 2020 we want to be able to hit 10% of total portfolio size. So we are going to leverage on the existing anchor borrower platforms, which you know has up to 6 windows.
So can you tell us more about the partnerships and some of the projects you're doing with the Anchor Borrower program?
We have a number of projects across different locations geographically. The very first one we executed with NERSA under the Anchor Borrower Agency window. is in Kebbi State, where is in Kebbi State because it's ongoing, for rice, linked to Labana Rice as the off-taker. And then the Kebbi Development Forum is a group of businessmen who want to develop Kebbi. A lot of them have their own businesses, they're not really agriculturists, but they want to be able to be aggregators for their farmers so that they can give them a platform they can access financing and support. So they have aggregated a group of rice farmers and they came to us to say, can you support us? And we went there and found that they were quite organized and took them on, wrote to Russell, and then the rest is history. About 270 million has been disbursed as we speak to their farmers. Yes. And then we have another ticket that Nelson has just given us because apparently we executed that project quite smoothly because we were able to open up to 350 BETA accounts. BETA is an account that is an agency account. You don't need to come to the bank. It's like an ESUSU account where agents go around to collect money. Zuru, Kebbi, and one other location. I can't remember the name, sorry.
So is this part of what Diamond Bank is doing with MTN to open the account?
Exactly.
So can you tell us more about it?
That is DYA, Diamond Yellow Account. That's another financial inclusion platform.
So it's not the same thing?
It's not the same.
Oh, okay.
There are two different platforms. This one is based on, you have to have an MTN SIM to have it, to just open the account on your phone. BETA is like an ESUSU, electronic ESUSU account.
Tell us more about it.
So it has agents, just like the ESUSU where people go around and then you will have that card. But this time around, they go out with a handheld device and they can collect up to a maximum of 400,000. They open accounts also for people, women selling tomatoes and in the market. And that account is linked to the bank. So in fact, the woman can go to the bank herself and then they have a card. In fact, on that product, we have piloted a small lending of 50,000 naira.
Okay.
And it has worked and we're trying to scale it up. Now the DYA also is with a card seller or somebody who sells MTN cards who can be trained by us to be an agent. And MTN will create them with agent capacities. So people can go in there and also pay you money and take it.
This is a DYA.
That's a DYA. It also can do up to 400,000.
So basically you can open an account from your phone?
Oh yeah, if you have an MTN account, you have opened it and it's a live account and you can get transfers, you can do transfers, you can make payments to other banks, you can do everything, just that it has a limit of 400,000.
Oh, interesting.
So it lets you do a lot. So as long as there's an MTN network there, anybody can have a BETA account once we create an agent.
Seems like Diamond Bank is doing amazing stuff in the sector.
Thank you.
So one of the key things we hear in the agricultural sector, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is the challenges. Everybody talks about access to finance. So how is Diamond Bank making an impact with this access to finance? Are you providing finance for investors in the sector, commercial farmers, the SME? Access to finance is a major issue. Can we talk more on that?
Well, providing financing because as I sit here, I'm sitting on a portfolio of about $180 million. 98% of that is Diamond Bank's funds. It's not intervention funds. So that tells you how much of the bank's funds. That's about how many billion for this project. I just use dollars because it's the international currency. So we are lending across the three business segments. I'll give you an example of. And are we lending enough? No. Why? There are challenges. For instance, when we talk about smallholders, we are not a rural bank. Smallholders are generally found in the rural areas. That's why the platform of BETA and DYA gives an extension of, say, our branch in Kebbi, in Green Kebbi, to people in Zuru, for instance. We don't have a branch in Zuru, but we have used our financial inclusion platform on BETA and DYA to reach out to Zuru and the rest. You understand? Now, So that has expanded the scope. Now those people have a loan of about 400,000 under the NERSA window. Without that kind of reach, without that kind of last mile access, they won't be able to benefit from this loan, even though the money is there. So we have facilitated that. This Agro Bora program, we're doing it in Enugu, in Cassava, we're doing it in Imo, 2,000 farmers, we're doing it in Anambra. A total of over 6,000 farmers have already opened accounts. Right now, as we speak, I'm expecting credits from CBN for these various customers. And about 50% of them are on BETA. One, because it's very easy to open. By extension, we have given these farmers access to finance, access to financial services, both the lending and just in and out of their own money. So in terms of lending, if you look at it also, we have a proposition that we call Diamond Woman. So every female agri-entrepreneur, as few as they are in the same production, if they are in this chain, their loans come at 2% less. Not the government financed loans, not the interventions. When we give our own funds, we're giving women a discount of 2%.
Is this for women entrepreneurs or?
It's for all women.
Oh, okay.
So that including the agripreneurs. So we're not discriminating, it's for all women because we want to encourage women to kind of take their place more in business. So for us, that is a special offer.
As a commercial farmer, I'm a startup and I'm producing tomatoes, for example. I want to scale up my business, I want to go into processing. And I'm looking for finance to invest in my business. I'm coming to Diamond Bank. What do I need? What advice or what requirements do I need? Because I need access to finance. And people like that out there, commercial solar farmers, they don't get access to finance. What are the key things they need to be able to get access to such?
The challenge we see and why not enough are getting the financing that is available is that entrepreneurs do not dot their I's and cross their T's. Why do I say that? You're in whatever it is you're looking for finance for as a business. And so you need to have some minimal structure, you need to have some minimal kind of technical know-how, and you need to have history. You need to have information on your own business. So that amount of money you say you need came from somewhere. How did you arrive at that amount? So it is important that entrepreneurs are able to articulate their need in a coordinated and in a business-like manner. My job is to finance you from a point of understanding your need. And your job is to convey that need as clearly as it is to you, to me, to facilitate my ability to say, I can finance you in such and such manner. Therefore, I usually advise entrepreneurs, sit down, get your own part of the job done. Articulate your need very clearly. Half of the times, it's not finance that is the major issue, primary issue. They have technical management issues where there are leakages, they're not putting money where they should put, they're using money they shouldn't use for certain things, and therefore the business is not going in the direction it should go. So when you engage an entrepreneur, we engage more deeply in administrative and competence and market. By the time you put everything inside that bucket and begin to take it up, you find out that there are lots of things that are not being done correctly.
So when I get to that place where I cross all the my eyes and then I get all the checks and I get approved, do I need to be my father's house? What do I need? Do I what kind of collateral? How does that work?
If you give me your father's house, I'll take it. But that's not usually in fact, when I'm discussing with
because people have this ideas, we have these assumptions that you have to actually have land or some kind of property to give so you can get some funding.
They're not absolutely wrong, but it's not always like that. So let me explain. Like I said, we have intervention funds from the central bank, from BOI and all of that. Then we have the regular, you and I use money in the commercial banks that we take and use, and then it can take our money. Even the intervention funds are supposed to be secured. What the intervention funds we have today has worked to achieve is to reduce cost by making a single digit maximum of 9% rather than 25 to 30% commercial. To also make it possible to give the money for longer than 3 years, 5, 6, 7, because commercial funds are not long-term funds. We all have bank accounts, we all have fixed deposits. We never fix our money less than more than 90 days. So the commercial funds are short-term. So the intervention funds are set to achieve these two, price and tenure. Now, banks take full responsibility of those loans, 100% liabilities. CBN is our banker. If the customer doesn't pay, they just debit us. So we also have to have a fallback. But there is also this general misconception in the public that the central bank money.
So there's this myth that farmers are not creditworthy, meaning they don't pay back their loans. Is a myth. Can you talk more about that and talk more about what's going on with the agribusiness program and just farmers in general paying back their loans?
It's a myth, it's a reality depending on which angle you look at it. We've had farmers who have capacity to pay, but they're not willing to pay. So that's clearly an issue of character. Farmers have also grown their rice or whatever, or processed whatever you funded, and you know that they have harvested and sold, but they didn't bring the money into their account.
You think they believe it's government money?
Exactly, and some of the ones I have, particularly, the more worrisome ones were government funds or the intervention funds. And when you say pay, they say stop disturbing me. After all, it's government money. So there is that perception that needs to change, and we need to work with it on it together with CBN in creating awareness to let them know that government is putting this money to achieve those two items I mentioned, to reduce the impact for them and improve their need, but they have a responsibility to pay as and when due.
So is that why a lot of banks shy away from agri-financing, they rather do other sectors? Why is that?
It's a combination of issues. One, the same effort you put in financing an agri-business is the same effort you put in financing, or even less, a non-agri-business, especially primary production and processing. It's easier to lend to a trader who just wants to get his money sharp and go and sell and make a quick turnaround and come back. They are more, first of all, they have shorter turnaround and they are more likely to pay. Now, the amount of administrative work we put in getting an agri loan through is a lot. So, in terms of human investment and time and energy, it's a lot more. And then the yield is lower.
So Diamond Bank is known for the leading tech bank in Nigeria. How is Diamond Bank able to impact the ag-tech sector?
In terms of the two products I talked about, BETA and DYA, that is already a technological advancement in terms of reach and mile. And the next level also is in terms of sharing information on those same platforms, piggybacking those platforms, because it also works with the mobile phone, so that we build information, partnering with information resources, so that they can also get these business services I talked about. Because it's difficult to put people in the class. How many can you put in the class? So leveraging DYA, which is phone-based, and then BETA, which is also still linked to their phone using USSD codes. We are working on something that can facilitate them getting information on agriculture. We're not going to create the information, there's already people doing that. It's just to kind of link it. Exactly. So we're discussing with one or two people to do that. There's also, in terms of monitoring, we're in discussions with two tech service providers for monitoring using drones. One of them actually won the prize at the Shark Tank on the Tech Fest, the drone, BEAT drone. That can do a lot of monitoring, of farms and give us a report of the performance and all of that. In Diamond Bank, we are focused in providing support to agriculture in all the sectors across all the value chains. So if you have your businesses and you're interested in finding the right support, we are available, and we operate across the nation in 4 directorates. We have specialists for all these sectors. We are available and we are ready.